What's up, everyone? Welcome to week 5. It's Tuesday. I hope you had a nice holiday Monday in celebration of Juneteenth. Hope you read my little message about the history of Juneteenth. Okay, why it's important, why we celebrate it. All right. And now we are going to get back into the class. So this is really a continuation from last week. The things I'm going over this week are essentially how to construct your paragraphs, because this week you are writing your paragraphs, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion introduction for your essay 2, and then submitting it. Okay. So you need to make sure that your outline is finished. I just graded through. I'm finished grading essay 1s, so you can read. Everyone now should have, if you turned it in, you should have feedback, which I'm going to go over one of those in a moment today. Write your essay, go from your outline to the final draft, okay? I'm going to go over that today. And then also, you might want to rewatch a previous lecture from essay 1 where I went over the outline to essay procedure, okay? If you have not read through essay 1 stuff that your mistakes or whatever, I would write essay 2 first. Write it, do everything you think is perfect for it, then go in and look at my comments for essay 1 and apply those things to your essay. Okay, so like because more than likely you'll make the same mistakes twice. Okay, and so I think if you write essay 2 first, then pull up my comments from essay 1 and go through the things that I talk about in your essay that you've done incorrectly. Then you can immediately go into essay 2 and look to see if you did those same things again, and then you can fix them. That will be a much better effective method than just reading all the comments from essay 1 and then writing essay 2, because I wonder if you're my cat. The editing process of an essay uses a different part of your brain than the writing process of your paper, okay? So like there is the creative part of your brain that brings into existence things that weren't there. And then there is the logical reasoning part of your brain that looks at systems and operations and rules, okay? And sometimes it's very hard to do both those, to use both parts of those brains at the same time, creating something new and then also applying rules of grammar. So I've just said, I would write essay 2, get it all out. Then look at your corrections from essay 1, things I've discussed, and apply those through your editing process of essay 2, okay? So with that in mind, I'm going to go over the PowerPoint first about how to go about organizing your paragraphs and constructing your paragraphs, okay? And then I will go over 1, maybe 2 examples from essay 1, okay? All right. So I have deleted week 5 individual folder and combined it with week 4 to 5 because they kind of go together, okay? Because the lecture notes I'm going over are right here, okay? So actually, I might just edit this and say week 4 to 5, oops, lecture notes, okay? And then what you'll see down here is well, hold on, snap your fingers. Ta-da! Magic. Here's the essay 2 Dropbox, okay? But first make sure you submit it to essay 2 right here, and then submit it here, okay? All right. This week, again, let's just look at this. All right, we're gonna go over graded essay 1s, which I'm gonna go over after all this stuff. I'm gonna finish talking about essay 2. All right. And then let's see. If somebody sends me a rough draft of their SA2 or the first draft or their final draft of their SA2, and they want me to do a live edit of it, if you send it to me, I will do an edit of it and record it on Friday. So if you send it to me before 6 a.m. on Friday, I will record a lecture editing a paper. Okay, and then you get to actually get that paper. All right. This week, once you're done, once you finish editing, submitting SA2, your job is to finish reading your memoir. If you have 100 pages left, read 100 pages. If you have 200 pages left, read 200 pages. If you haven't started, then you need to go ahead and start and finish it. Which, like I recommend, if you have not started your book yet, okay, I wouldn't read it. I would get a copy of it, yes, but I would use Audible. Most books are like 12 hours. Okay. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, that's like 3 hours worth of listening to the book each day. But I mean, put the headphones in, listen to 3 hours. Okay. Go jog, clean your house, help your parents out, weed the yard, whatever. Listen to 3 hours of your book each day and get it done. You still will probably cover more book, especially if you turn the audio speed up to like 1.2. Okay. And you can get a free Audible account for a month. You sign up for a free trial, listen to a book, and then you cancel it. Okay. So, because next week is when we're going to go straight into, if you look right here, submit SA2 is this week. We only have essentially 3 more weeks, but really y'all only have like 2 weeks, because I'm giving myself an entire week to grade SA3. So you really don't have much. You are submitting SA2 this week. Next week, you are writing your SA3 outline. You're doing all your research and everything. And then week 4, you are submitting it. Okay. You are going from the outline to the essay and submitting it. So it's done really soon. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So let's look at the PowerPoint. Same PowerPoint as from last week, as I've already stated. Let's go down to paragraphs, constructing paragraphs. Constructing paragraphs. The introduction of your paper, okay? You want to start off broad and move more specific. This is for all your papers. So even for essay 3, or paper 3. For this essay, follow this outline for your intro. Begin talking about diverse perspectives in general, okay? If you're writing about a poem from the Black perspective and from the female perspective and from the queer perspective, those are many different perspectives that are all outside the mainstream perspective. The mainstream dominant perspective that is just assumed to be the norm, even though it's not, is, as defined by Audre Lorde, who was a great Black queer feminist philosopher, pretty much, okay, social critic. She said that the mainstream dominant American perspective, that is sort of the idea of the norm, what everything kind of goes back to, is a white male, straight, thin, younger middle age, like 20s, 30s perspective. Oh, and Christian. Okay, those are sort of just the defaults, and so it's important, to look to move away from that just one perspective fits all kind of thing. And so, which is why it's poetry. In this poem, in a lot of this poetry, also, it's not even like there's a poem in the women's unit that's really about body consciousness and self-love, and it's not just women who think about that. There's a lot of males, and people who are non-binary, and who are not cis, who also have body insecurity. So, there are many different perspectives out there. All right, so then leading to the power of art and poetry as a vehicle to diverse expression. Moving to talking about the three poets that you are going to be discussing. End with your thesis statement where you state the three poems and what points you're going to make. Okay, so like end with discussing the imagery of Amanda Lovelace and the symbolism in Clint Smith and the structure of the poem On Trans. Okay, for example, poetry is a fundamental way to express one's existence, as it can be seen in the symbolism of house in the world, the theme of phenomenal woman, and the feminine. Actually, that should probably be like, feminist messages and what they don't tell you. Feminist messages is theme, but instead of being redundant by saying theme twice, instead we used a synonym. Okay, and then the conclusion. The introduction and conclusion are siblings. Okay, actually, when I write my papers, I tend to write just the body paragraphs first. I write all the body paragraphs, and then I go back and do the intro and the conclusion at the same time. In your conclusion, you want to reverse what you did with your introduction while ending on a personal note. So for this essay, follow this outline for your conclusion. Begin by restating your thesis. Move into how people react individually to poetry. End with a discussion, like half your paragraph, on what these poems mean to you. A little personal reflection. Okay? That's how your conclusion should flow. And all of your paragraphs should roughly be about the same number of lines. Your intro and conclusion should be about the same size and only slightly shorter than the body paragraphs. And all of your body paragraphs should be about the same size. Okay, so it's balance in your writing. Intro and conclusion, that's your bread. Okay, but those should be a little bit shorter than like the meat or the what is that? Not meat, but burger. It's not smart meat. That's something about smart water. Incredible burger. Okay, think about it that way for all of you non-meat eaters. But like I don't go to Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's subs, awful. No offense if you're a Jimmy Johner. All right, but to me, there's too much bread. It's way too much bread and not enough meat. And that me or veggies, if I wanted a veggie sub, it's not enough. Nobody wants tons of bread on their sandwich. They want the middle stuff, okay? The pimento cheese and the bacon and the tomato and me, a big fat juicy burger, cholesterol, death on a bun. All right. So your introduction and the conclusions should be thinner, and then the body paragraphs should be thicker. Okay. All right. Body paragraph. So the paragraph, master the essay. 3 parts to a paragraph: claim, support, and analysis. This should be a review. I've already discussed this once, okay? But going back over it. First part of a paragraph, the claim. Main idea that is being made in the paragraph. It is the main idea that a writer wants their readers to understand and know. There's only one claim in a paragraph. The rest of the paragraph is just proving and convincing the audience the claim being made is legitimate and believable. Up to 20% of the paragraph. It can be like 10 to 20% of the paragraph. Second part of the paragraph. Support. Contextual support. Quotes. References summary. Use just enough quotes and summary to support your claim and analysis. Some people, and by some I mean a lot of people for essay 1 went overboard. Their paragraphs were just summaries. They were just, the whole thing was just a summary. And that's a problem because the summary should only be 30%. Your support should only be 30% of the paragraph. So like if it's a 10 line paragraph, up to 3 lines can be quotes. After that, no more. All right. That includes no summary, nothing. 3 lines can be summary and quote together. Okay. After that, no more. All right. Because people write these long paragraphs and they think, oh my God, what a great paragraph. It's so long. But it's absent or short on the most important part of the paragraph, which is the analysis, which should be 50% of the paragraph. 50%. Okay. What is that? Like a Grant? Isn't Grant? Is he on the 50? I don't know. You know, I have debit cards. So, and this is important because this is the explanation of your claim. This is where you put it all together. All right. You have some evidence, which is only should be 30%, and the rest should be explanation. Okay. This is where your paragraph wins or loses. So you need to tell your reader how they need to understand the information. And the analysis is more important than the summary. Okay? All right. Here's an example from this excerpt from White Fragility. Okay? Now this lady, this is professional writing, so she actually kind of wrote hers in like 2 different paragraphs, but whatever. Okay? Here's her claim essentially. Another way that my life has been shaped by being white is that my race is held up as the norm for humanity. Whites are just people. Our race is rarely, if ever, named. Think about how often white people mention the race of a person if they are not white. My black friend. Oh, the Asian woman. I enjoy young adult literature, but am taken aback by how consistently the race characters of color is named, and how only those characters' races are named. To use an example from school, consider the writers we are all expected to read. The list usually includes Ernest Hemingway, John Steinbeck, Charles Dickens, Fyodor Dostoevsky, Mark Twain, Jane Austen, and William Shakespeare. These writers are seen as representing the universal human experience, and we read them precisely because they are presumed to be able to speak to us all. Now consider the writers returned to during events promoting diversity, such as Multicultural Authors Week and Black History Month. These writers usually include Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, Amy Tan, and Sandra Cisneros. We go to these writers for the Black or Asian perspective. Toni Morrison is always seen as a Black writer, not just a writer. But when we are not looking for the Black or Asian perspective, we return to white writers, reinforcing the idea of whites as just human, and people of color as particular kinds, racialized of humans. This also allows white male writers to be seen as not having an agenda or any particular perspective, while racialized and gender writers do. And so, this paragraph, I mean, I know there's a block right here, but this is essentially flowing claim support and then the explanation about why this matters, okay, and why this is important. So, like, your paragraphs, while they should contain support, okay, they also need plenty of explanation, okay? Here's some examples of student writing, okay? Strong writing using illustration and narrative. Another opportunity I had from growing up white was being ignorant of casual racism surrounding me. When I revisited my hometown after several years of living in other regions of the country, I reconnected with my childhood best friend. When I told him that I had settled down in Atlanta, he said, I wouldn't make it in Atlanta. Too many blacks. I was stunned by how casually this racist remark came out of his mouth, even though I knew this guy was the embodiment of a good old boy. I always associated that term to mean a good guy from the country. He was recognized as a man of God. He was the kind of man you would want your son to grow up to be. He was a hard worker and the son of a police lieutenant. But he made these remarks with such ease. The encounter opened my eyes to many other instances of casual racism from my past. Riding in peers' cars when they would lock the doors at the sight of a black man walking on the sidewalk. White community members staring at the sick man in the DMV because he looks Muslim. Elders ranting about the illegals taking our jobs. Growing up within the rural white circle gave me the opportunity to be ignorant to casual racism that is still rampant in many areas today. So we have a claim here, okay? And then we have some support, specific and realistic illustrates that illustrate their claims. Then we have analysis and an explanation about how to interpret this information. Here's the line, I couldn't make it in Atlanta, too many blacks, and then here is an explanation of how we should understand that phrase. We have some additional support, and then we have more analysis. You don't have to have your support all together. It can be chunked up in your paragraph. A little bit of support that supports your claim, and then some analysis of that. Another support, and then some analysis of that. That's fine as well, as long as the whole paragraph is not a support or summary. Okay. Here is an example of weak writing. Expectations are something that everyone has in their life. It can be either a parent wanting their child going into a certain college, or a child wanting something from their parents. From my experience, instead of both the parents and the children not talking through and just expecting something from each other, they should always talk it out through a conversation. Both the children and parents can achieve a lot through a conversation. Okay. So while sure, we have the three parts, it's too short. It's much too short. Okay. Good. You have there are the three distinct parts: claim, support, analysis, but it's simply just too generalized. It lacks depth because it is too short, and the examples are non-specific. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you an example of this is someone's paper whose name you won't know. Okay. This is from essay 1. All right. And this is my write-up of their essay. They have access to this. Okay. Um, so in this, let's imagine this person, George Hamilton. Let's say hopefully they've written essay 2. Okay. They wrote essay 2 out. So now what I would want them to do is look at what I have written here, what I've posted here, in their on their rubric, and the rubric is okay, but the main thing is what I type in your actual essay 1. And this person, George, should go through this and make sure they're not making the same mistakes with essay 2. They should have essay 2 right up next to, 2 essays next to it, essay 1 and then essay 2. Essay 1, my edited version, and essay 2, their new essay. Okay, so here, your heading needs to be on the same alignment as your essay. Notice how this is indented. George, Byers, English, June is here, and but the rest of the essay is all the way over here. This needs to be moved over. Okay, it is indented. So George should look at essay 2, the second essay that he wrote, and see if his heading's doing the same thing. Okay. Byers. My name is not Byers. It is Byars. I'm fine with you including Mr. Okay, so Mr. Byers. So if on essay 2 George wrote Byers, he needs to change it. Okay. Sexism is shown. Some of these is things that are just better word usage. Sexism is used. Okay. Now right here, this little squiggly. Some of you know exactly what this is. What I'm referring to here. Your alignment should be justified, not left. So George needs to go to essay 2 that he's already written and see, are his paragraphs aligned left or are they justified? And he needs to go ahead and fix it. Okay. This is just rephrasing. I gave some tips about how to say this better. Okay. While your claim for this paragraph should reference your thesis, this is too redundant. Find a different way of saying this so that it doesn't sound exactly like the line we just read. So here, he wrote, sexism threatens women like Margot and Cat Person. Here, sexism can threaten women like Margot and Cat Person. Just rephrase it. So George, look at essay 2. Is his claim is it worded exactly the same way as his thesis is worded? And if it is, change the way it's worded. Okay, that's all. All right, here this is when quoting within a quote, you use singular apostrophes for the internal quote. And I demonstrated at the bottom where it says Margot thinking her texting, LOL, are you serious? So George should go to essay 2 and see if he has quoted inside of a quote, and he needs to fix it. Okay, right here, parenthetical citations go inside of periods. This is a lot of people were doing this incorrectly. See this period? This period needs to be over here so that the parenthetical citation is inside of the sentence. So George, again, would go to essay 2 and look to see all the times that he used a parenthetical citation. Did he incorrectly do it? And if so, fix it once it's already written. Okay. Move this comma after the parenthetical citation. Okay, so those are these things. And then I get to this paragraph. This paragraph I've highlighted showing claim, support, and analysis. Okay, and by looking at the color, okay, you can see that the support is the most. There's more support than there is analysis. And that's incorrect. That's an incorrect way of writing a paragraph. Okay, it's imbalanced. So here I say, your paragraph isn't balanced correctly. His paragraph is balanced 5% claim, 66% support, and 29% analysis. When it should be claim is 5 to 10%, support 20 to 30%, analysis 50 to 60%. Okay, so that needs to be if he needs to go back to his body paragraphs and he needs to look to see in essay 2 if he is using too much summary, if he's adding too much summary. And if so, he needs to reduce, and you don't have to reduce this amount of summary, you can just add more analysis. That's one way of doing it. It's better to add more analysis rather than to reduce summary, so that way your paper is longer, and longer papers tend to get scored higher. Okay? All right, then I'm not gonna go over all these errors, but they're there. Everybody's essay should have stuff like this, where I have, this is just saying this is too high up. This should be down here. Okay, some people's work data pages were really bad, and so I made notes on it to show you what you need to do better. Okay, so you need to make sure that you find my comments and read through them. Don't just look at the rubric, because on the rubric I just clicked categories. Here is where I actually write stuff on your essay, and so you need to make sure you actually follow that, look at it, and go through it. Okay. All right, I think that's it. If anybody has if someone finishes essay 2 and wants to send it to me before Friday morning, I'll do a live edit of it online. I mean, I'll record it and send it to y'all. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, people, let me know. I'll be around to help you. Okay, bye-bye.